pot of gold.
One time out of 10, 2 times won't you be mine? We just can't pretend. This love thing can take time. 3 times then I'm in.
There we go. Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of Ramble by the River. I'm your host on the coast, who ain't scared of no ghost, Jeff Nesbitt. It is Saturday, August 26th, the year of our Lord 2022. Yeah, that's right. And I am nervous because I am running Hood to Coast tomorrow. What is Hood to Coast, you ask? Well, Hood to Coast is a relay race. You and 11 of your friends just get in a van, 2 vans actually, drive to the top of a mountain, and then run down all the way till you hit the ocean. That's basically it. It's 200 miles, 199 actually, and it's a blast. I've done it a few times now. I've done a few different versions of it, and this is the hard one. It takes 2 days. You gotta sleep on the ground, if at all, and it's just a blast. Shout out to my Hood to Coast team, the North Jetty Brew Crew, and thank you to North Jetty, the North Jetty Brewery in Long Beach, or Seaview, Washington. Probably Seaview. I don't know. It's right there on the line somewhere. But it's a great place. They have great beer. It's a nice atmosphere, and you can bring kids in there until a certain time of night, of course. Yeah, and I really recommend it. It's a good place. All right, I got to get in the groove. Feeling kind of distracted today. And it's really just because I'm excited. I'm excited to go run. I'm excited to go do something hard. I like doing hard stuff. It really makes you wonder, though, like, what is it about running and triathlons or really any of the endurance sports? What is it about those sports that people like? Why do they attract people so much? Is it a certain type of people? Because there are definitely people who think, no way, I'm not ever doing something like that. And if you even suggest it, they act like you're crazy. So I don't know what the difference is. It's not whether or not they're healthy enough to do it or fit enough to do it. That does play a role, but I know lots of very fit people who do not like to do endurance sports. And I know a lot of very unfit people who do enjoy it and try their best. So, you know, not very many, but I've known some in my life. So I'm excited. I think it's going to be a fun trip. Fun is probably not the right word, but I'm excited for it regardless. It's just fun to do something that's a culmination. I've been training for a while. It's been months now since I signed up, so I'm ready for it to just be done and get it out of the way. Plus, the best part of any kind of a running endeavor for me is right after. You got the endorphin rush. Everybody's happy. You don't really care if you won or not. I usually didn't. It's just a good feeling. Yeah, that's a nice drive back home. That's that post-race euphoria. I love it. Always have. What am I doing now? I don't know. But yeah, running. It's weird. When you get out there, you're in the middle of nowhere. It's dark still, and there's just headlamps everywhere. You just see people scurrying around in the dark. Everyone's wearing glowing clothes, and it's just a bunch of weirdos, bunch of strange people to go out in the middle of nowhere and run in a giant group like that. Imagine if you're the aliens, you know? You're up above watching from your cameras, and you see this large gathering of these weird humanoid things all lit up and just scampering through the dark in a single file line. What would you think? Like, how would you explain that strange occurrence? Think about if we were observing some animals in the wild, and then all of a sudden they just lined up and started racing. It'd be weird. It'd be weird in places that they normally wouldn't even go. You see those extreme races that like go through the desert. I don't know, remember what they're called anymore, but there's a lot. The Badwater. What's the Death Valley one? I don't know. But yeah, there are people all over this planet who just like to push it to the limit. Take it to the limit. Take it to the limit. One more time. Man, it would be really hard to be deaf because I have hearing issues. I get congestion, I would call it, in my left ear. It feels very tight in with my nose. I'll plug my nose sometimes and try to pop my ears, and it doesn't usually work. Hey, that kind of did, though. I can feel my voice the normal way. I hate the way my voice sounds and feels when it's like way caught up in my throat. But then if I force it out too much, then I get a lot of popping, you know? I got to find a nice healthy medium. I think that right there is like the very best that I could do. Yeah, right there. I think that'll sound fantastic. Okay. I think I like it better without the headphones. I wonder if it sounds better. It makes me less stressed. I don't feel like everybody is paying attention to what I'm doing right now. I just feel like I'm sitting in my shed recording myself talking, which is exactly what I'm doing. So that's how I should feel. When I have the headphones on, I for some reason feel like everybody's like listening, which you're not yet, but now you are. But you weren't when I recorded this, which is, to me is the present, but to you is the past. So I have to put my mind into the future to understand the present. Obviously. If you want to connect with Ramble by the River on social media, you can find us at Ramble by the River on Facebook and Instagram, and at Ramble River Pod on Twitter. So check that out. Give us a like, give us a follow. We'll probably follow you back if you're cool. If you're a creep, definitely not. We're very picky about who we follow on the Ramble. If you have any guest suggestions or you'd like to advertise on the podcast, shoot an email to admin1, ADMIN, the number 1, at ramblebytheriver.com. Admin1 at ramblebytheriver.com. Speaking of ramblebytheriver.com, that is where you can find all the most recent updates about the show, which is mostly just the most recent episode. We'll post that every week. And it's a great place that you can find information if you need to contact us or whatever. Check it out, ramblebytheriver.com. Ramble by the River is made possible by the generous contributions from our listeners. Now, you've probably heard me talk about this before, but I'm going to mention it again because I have to. You're probably listening to this on a free service like Apple Podcasts or Spotify. But did you know there's actually a place where you can find behind-the-scenes content, get access to merch? Not a lot of merch yet, just a t-shirt, but there will be more. That shit's expensive. And in addition to those things, you get access to Ramble on the Road, the companion podcast to Ramble by the River. That's a show where I get a little bit more personal, talk about my hopes and dreams, fears and sorrows. It's a good show. I have a lot of fun making it because I kind of just treat it as a therapy session. Or a diary if you want. Dear diary, I killed a chicken today. And it made me sad. But not that sad. If you'd like to become a member of the Ram Fam, which is what we call the Patreon group, head on over to ramblebytheriver.com and click subscribe at the top of the page. I make it real easy. Put the link at the top of the page on every page of the whole website. So it should always just say subscribe at the top. Click that. It'll take you right to Patreon. And that will allow you to select a subscription tier. We only have 2 options, basic and premium. I highly recommend the premium because you have access to everything, but the basic is pretty good too. You get most stuff. They're both pretty cheap, so whatever you can afford is great. Anyway, enough blabbering on about that. Do it if you're interested. Patreon.com/ramblebytheriver or ramblebytheriver.com. Click subscribe at the top of the screen. It has been such a crazy busy week for me and my family. We're getting ready to go back to school. Been doing some podcasts, been working like crazy. Summer's coming to a close. So I'm trying to get everything done while I've got a chance. And that makes for some long days. But life is good. Life is good. I like being busy. I think it's better that way. I've been staying happy, staying healthy. Getting ready for this race has been keeping me accountable, keeping me from just eating a ton of junk food and never working out. So been working out a little bit, trying to eat good and feeling good. I'm looking forward to this race. I think it's going to be a really good time. So Shout out once more to all my fellow Hood to Coast runners. I hope you guys check out the podcast. I should just wear a t-shirt that says Ramble by the River on it, but I don't want to. I don't want attention while I'm running. I don't want anyone to talk to me. I just want to be able to run, and I'm like a ghost. I come and I go. Got to stay hydrated. And also you got to keep your electrolytes at the right levels. Not too much, but not too little. Just right. The Goldilocks level of electrolytes. I'm going to use Liquid IV. It's cheap. You can get it at Costco, and it works really well. It's just like Gatorade or any of those other things. They say it's better, but who knows? I don't think it is. I think it's the same. Oh, fuck. That scared me. I don't know why that happened. But a cord just randomly unwound here in the studio. I always find it so strange when there's random movements out here. Like something falls off a shelf or a cord unravels. Because I'm not out here all that often. And what are the chances that that happens when I'm out here? Like, I don't know. Does that mean it's happening at that rate when I'm not out here too? Are cords just unraveling themselves all the time? I know they do. There's tension in the cord, but that was creepy. Especially because I've talked about ghosts twice on this podcast already. I ain't scared of no ghost. But I kind of a little bit am. Now, I'm going to wrap this thing up. My guest today is one of the founding members of the Brownsmead Flats, which is a singing group out of Brownsmead. They're fantastic. Ned is a very interesting man. He hitchhiked across the country, decided to write a musical about it, and has produced that musical several times. He's a father, he's a husband, and he is a talented conversationalist. Without further ado, please give it up for the adventurous and charismatic Ned Heavenrich.
From the inside out, so right now, say it with your chest now, say it with your chest now. I'm young, I'm free, can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to run it out. It's my time, it's my time, it's my time to ride it. I'm young, I'm free, can't nobody take me here and now. It's my time to run it out. It's my time, it's my time, it's my time to ride it out. It's your time, oh. Cheers to all the haters, cause you proved to me that rising to the top was my destiny. And you can see whatever from behind.